Happy Wednesday. Welcome in to this happy hour edition of Seahawks Today Live, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us here with you a little bit earlier than we typically do on Wednesday afternoons, as Trizzy Trace is in the house with me. He's got a little dinner to get to, so we've bumped up the show time a little bit this week. But nonetheless, if you got to leave at any point, you can check back later. We'll have our segments posted on the channel throughout the week. But nonetheless, as we get the party started here on this Wednesday, shout out your city. Tell us where you are watching from, and we will shout you out as you guys join in and join us on the start of today's show. This is our build-up portion where we encourage you to get involved, interact with us, and get that chat popping. Would love to hear from you guys and our chance to talk to you guys directly as we begin this thing today. I see P&W Family is in the house, says love the channel. Thank you, P&W Family. Michael is checking in from South Carolina. Gamecocks or Clemson Tigers fan? What are you, Michael, or someone else? Let us know. AP Ranch in Hamilton. Pablo says South Carolina. Got to see all the South Carolina people. The Darius Rucker crowd showing up today. What's up, Tyler Jones? Pablo, what's up? Good to have you here. Also, let's see. Michael in Charleston, South Carolina. I got Iron in Moses Lake, Washington. Caleb wants to know how many touchdowns and passing yards I think Gino will have. Tell you what, we're going to do not one but two Q&A mailbag segments today. Use hashtag Seahawks, and I will answer that question in our mailbag. Caleb is a Houston Texans fan, but nonetheless, we welcome anyone here on Seahawks Today. Welcome many, welcome all, as they say. Troy checking in from South Texas. I got Archie from New York here. Edward and Everett. Let's see. Michael says neither. Not a Gamecock or a Clemson Tiger, a Florida Gator fan. Trizzy Trace is here with me, the man among all of the Arkansas Razorback fans.
What's up, fellas? How we doing?
Woo Pig.
How we doing? Woo Pig. But Michael, my current roommate, he went to Florida. He's a Florida Gator. He's in med school now. So shout out, Florida. Yeah, and also, I see some people typing 12. The 12s in the comments because we love the 12s out here.
Yeah, type 12, you love the Seahawks.
12s.
I'm seeing a few 12s out there, but we got some more work to do. Spam the 12s in the chat. Let's see. What else we got? Caleb Clarify says, no, I'm from Houston, but a Seahawks fan. Well, we're in Dallas, and we love our Seahawks here as well. I got Vancouver, Washington from Curtis. Great place to live in if you want to save on taxes. And then also got Washington from the P&W family as well. Spam those 12s in the chat. Let's do a little chat rate test, shall we?
All right.
How many 12s can we get in the next minute?
So me and Tyler, we're going to start peppering the chat with 12s. So whoever can beat us in typing 12 more times, you're the comment MVP of the show. You get to start off the show as our MVP of the day. So
right.
There you go. Ready, set,
Start
go.
off the show with a bang. Get as many 12s as you can in the chat. Let's get this chat rate going. I see David says he's got a 12 tattoo. That's pretty cool. Let's see. TC104 says, how do I know? I don't know what you know. Let's see. How many 12s can we get in the chat here in this next minute? I see P&W family doing a good job so far with the early lead. Who's going to get the most in this next minute? I'm putting 1 minute on the clock right now. Spam those 12s
Get loud
in the
in the
chat.
comments. Get loud. I can't hear you guys. I can't hear the 12s. I want to hear every single one of y'all type 12 times.
Use that chat as if you're at Lumen Field on a Sunday cheering on your Seattle Seahawks. This is our rally cry for the offseason for now. It's just spamming 12 in the chat.
It's F the Niners. It's Seattle all the way. So type 12 if you hate the Niners.
Yeah, get those 12s in there. Good work, everybody. Still going a little bit. P&W family's got the early edge, but we got about 20 more seconds remaining on the clock. Let's see if we can, how this is going to go. Christopher Bryson also making this pretty competitive. 15 seconces left.
Let's go. 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12.
All right. I think P&W family's our winner this time. The MVP of today's show. Good work, P&W family, on getting the chat rate up and going to begin today's show. Name a breakout player for the Seahawks this year. Who is going to be the guy that steps up and has a breakout season for this Seahawks team. And this is what I mean by this, just to clarify, in case people don't know. We're talking about somebody that maybe is a young player that is, looking to step up, take that next step. Maybe it's a guy that's new to the Seahawks that you think is going to have an instant impact. Maybe it's a rookie that we're waiting to see, them have an immediate impact, whatever. Name a breakout player. Who's going to be a breakout player for the Seahawks? Archie with a $10 Super Chat. We haven't even gotten to Super Chat menu yet. We'll get to Archie here in just a second, but it's a very special Super Chat menu today. We'll explain why here in just a second. Archie, thanks for the love. 12s forever. Name a breakout player. JC104 says, who's your team? Seahawks, of course. Seahawks Today by Chat Sports.
Let's go.
12s representing. Troy says, DK Metcalf. DK's already been a breakout player. When you've had, what is it now, 3 or 4 1,000-yard receivers seasons, I don't know if you can be considered a breakout, but nonetheless. There we go. There's a good answer. Julian Love. The man himself with a $5 Super Chat.
Woo!
Like I said, what a start already, and we haven't even shown you the menu yet of what you're buying. Mike Morris says, Peter. PNW Family says, I think Darrell Taylor could take that next step and become an elite pass rusher. He had like 9 sacks last year. But if he could build upon that even, that'd be fantastic to see as far as that goes. Who is going to be a breakout player? Let us know in the chat below. So, Caleb says Kobe Bryant. That's a good answer as well. Edward wants to know, have you heard any more about Tariq Woolen? No, not yet. Just hoping he's back in time for training camp. That's kind of where we're at right now at this point. So here's why today's Super Chat menu is going to be a little bit special. Today is our birthday party, if you want to call it that, for yours truly. I'm going to be 27 on Monday on Memorial Day. I'm getting old here, Trizzy, but I want to know for the folks at home out there.
No. You're 27 years young, my friend.
27 years young. Yes. I like that. 27 years young. I want to know out there. I don't need any birthday wishes or anything like that. I just want to hear you guys. Maybe this is your chance to troll me or roast me of some sorts, whatever you may feel. Maybe you'll give an honest answer. I'm very curious. What's your best advice as I enter year 27? What do I need to know? Tell me in the chat. Trizzy, I know that you're younger than me, but
I am.
What would you advise? What do I need to know, you think, as I head to year 27?
So my dad gave me a piece of advice, and it's a wonderful piece of advice. He always tells me.
He's a ref.
He is a ref, so he knows a few things. So 2 things. 1, don't be a dumbass. It applies to everything. It applies to everything.
At any age.
Any age. Doesn't matter. Number 2, don't change or you'll be different. You can't change. Otherwise, you'll be different. You're great the way you are. So that's from my dad. And he's a great dude. He has a lot of really good dad advice and dad jokes. So
I love it.
There you go.
I love it. From Papa Trizzy.
Hell.
That's great.
I bet if we could get a $50 Super Chat, I bet I could call my dad and have him give us a dad joke just on the spot.
$50 Super Chat we can hear straight from Trizzy's dad.
I'll try to call him and see what's up.
The man himself says 27, grow a beard. I'm not much of a facial hair guy myself. I'll leave that to Trace.
I'll grow one. I'll keep my beard for the both of us.
Trace can grow facial hair really well. P&W fam says, happy birthday, Tyler. Peter says, stay in school. I'm not in school. That's why I'm here.
Jaden says, don't drop the soap.
True.
Okay,
that's fair.
True.
It's a secret says, I have shoes older than you. I believe that.
Wow.
David says, have fun, live life to the fullest. Edward says, wish I was 27 again. I'm excited. We're going to have a nice dinner tomorrow night.
Yes.
Me and the Chat Sports crew.
It's going to be fun.
And then I'm off to our nation's capital for the weekend. Going to D.C. is my plans there.
Get some stogies. Get some espresso.
We're going to kick off the summer of Jones in style.
Some whiskey. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time.
It's the secret says you pick it, you flick it. Okay. Peter says always dance.
It's a good one.
Never a bad idea to dance.
There's never a bad time when you're dancing around.
So let's show the Super Chat menu, and then we'll get to our Super Chats that have already come in. We'll pay those off. Here's what we're doing today for our birthday celebration here on Seahawks Today. Any Super Chat gets you a shout-out. We'll get you on screen. We'll show you on the show, and certainly would appreciate it. Any Super Chat of any amount. $5. I had the Fireball in hand. We're calling these birthday shots today. Usually our shots we do for like $7 for Geno Smith, whatever. We'll make this a birthday discount. Can you get me hammered on my birthday? That'd be awesome to see. $10, do a little beer cheers. Got my Coors Light in hand, ready to go. And the mountains are blue. You better believe it. $25 a beer chug. Every $300 we will take down Das Boot. That's $300 we send in collectively as a chat today. Then we'll take down Das Boot. And so we're already at $15 right now, just at the start of the show. So we're making progress. Got a ways to go. $285, and we'll take down the boot. $100 gets you a spot in the Boot Hall of Fame. We'll do an induction ceremony and everything. You could go on there and induct me with you or something, and we'll celebrate and do everything with all that. So that is what's on the Super Chat menu today. Catching up on comments. The man himself says, if you have no kids, keep it that way. I do not have kids that I know of. Cody says, hello, sweet cheeks. Hello. Peter says, Tyler coming to my hometown. Didn't know Peter was from D.C. Very cool. Edward says, happy birthday, live life to the fullest. Calvin says, always smile, be happy. Don't always trust a fart. Good
Facts.
point. Cody, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, #1 whiskey.
It's
I
good.
love some Screwball.
Screwball's good. So
I wish we had Screwball here in the office.
I will say this. I do have my cookie dough flavored whiskey. If somebody sends in a $20 super chat before we get started, I'm going to give Tyler Jones a birthday shot of cookie dough flavored whiskey. It's so good. Cody, I encourage you to go try it. It's a Old Smoky brand. I would check it out. It's really good.
Old Smoky, straight out of Nashville, Tennessee.
If you like Screwball, you'll love Old Smoky. That's some good stuff.
6th and Peabody is where you can find Old Smoky in Nashville. I love Old Smoky.
JC's asking, why do you report on the Ravens? It's his job. It's the job.
Right.
You got to do it.
I also do stuff on the Patriots, too.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, the other channels I work on, I even do stuff on our main chat sports channel, too. Our other channels are my stepchildren. Seahawks Today is my favorite child.
Yeah.
You know, the rest of the channels, Seahawks takes top priority. And, you know, we don't have enough people to cover every single team here at Chat Sports. And so we all have to divide up with the teams that we have. So that's why you can find me on some other channels. But Seahawks Today, this is my firstborn. And always appreciate Seahawks Today and you guys, the 12s, for all you guys do. So that is the Super Chat menu. $10. First Super Chat coming in from Archie says, 12s forever. Ain't that damn
Let's go
straight.
12s.
That's a bear cheers. So Archie, to you, 12. Cheers to you and the 12s out there.
12,
Let's have
12,
ourselves
12,
a day.
12. Let's go.
The man himself writes in with a $5 Super Chat. That means they got to take a shot. Hey! Let's go. Bang!
$50 Super
Bang!
Chat. Bang! 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 Let's go.
Pablo wants to party and have a good time. So you're getting out some peanut butter whiskey.
I'm gonna go get it.
We're calling your dad.
I'm calling Steve-O. Let me see if he.
Steve the ref. We'll give him a shot. We'll get to Pablo here in just a second. But in the meantime, let me drink up for the man himself, as I'm almost spilling already. The man himself says, any chance we can get Jordan Travis, Florida State quarterback? He moves like an all-pro Russ right now and has ice in his veins. I love hearing when you say ice in his veins, right? I mean, that means that they're not afraid of anything. And you look at Jordan Travis. This is a guy that's going to be a redshirt junior at Florida State this upcoming season. He was second-team All-ACC last year. He's not projected to go in the top 10, or in the first round, rather, right now. There's that first shot of fireball. He's not projected to go in the first round right now. So, yeah, Jordan Travis, absolutely, could be drafted by the Seahawks. I don't know about the Russell Wilson comparisons just yet. I think that might be a little bit early to be calling him Russell Wilson, but nonetheless, yeah, if Seattle, if they're interested in Jordan Travis in next year's draft, they absolutely have a chance to bring in Jordan Travis if they want him. Here it is, Old Smoky Moonshine, 6th and Peabody in Nashville, Tennessee, with some cookie dough whiskey. This has got to be good. This has got to be good. From the $50 Super Chat from Pablo. Bang! We might be hearing from referee Steve, Trizzy Trace's dad, momentarily. Here's a shot, cookie dough whiskey, because We don't drink enough around here. We're going to have some variety. Cheers to the 12s out there. Thanks for the birthday wishes. Drink up, as Archie says.
So, Archie, I got some peanut butter and jelly whiskey, too. So
That's good.
I'm going to hit one of these for you.
That is good.
Mm-hmm. You put that over ice, dude. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
I might have to do some mixing this with some Coors Light, get that little cold chill going.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love it. The man himself, thanks for the $5 super chat. Let's go to Pablo's $50 super chat.
Let's do it. Pablo.
To get this thing going. Pablo, Uchenna Nwosu contract is up after this season. What do you think the Seahawks will re-sign to a 2 or 3 year contract? Let's go Seahawks. Mike Morris and Derek Hall get play time this year. Yes or no? Yes, Mike Morris and Derek Hall will both get playing time this year. I think that's definitely going to happen. As far as the deal for Uchenna Nwosu goes, I like Uchenna Nwosu, but Seattle might feel like they want to get younger or upgrade that position because the outside linebacker spot, even right now, we've seen that there are some guys potentially that might be better than Uchenna Nwosu, such as Leonard Floyd, who's sitting out there in free agency and others. So maybe there's no pressure on Seattle to re-sign him to a long-term deal because there's other options as far as that position goes. But Pablo, thanks for the $50 super chat. Bang!
Let's go, Pablo.
$10 super chat from Michael. Everybody's wanting to party today. We're off to a great start on today's show. Michael with a $10 super chat, checking in. Michael, thanks for the love there. That's a beer cheers to you. Cheers to you, Michael. Thanks for it.
In case you missed
Go
it, guys.
Seahawks.
In case you missed it, here's our super chat menu. It's Tyler's birthday tomorrow / this week / today. So we're partying today with the 12s. We got it. We had the dream team on this live for the birthday. We have to party for my main man TJ's birthday, right?
You know, we do. And what I'm thinking, so we're at $75 now. I'm thinking, Trizzy, when we get to 300, that's when not only we do the boot, but that's when we sing happy birthday while doing the boot.
Naturally, we have to.
Yeah, I think that's – so if you guys want to sing to me, that's what it's going to take. It's a high bar, but it is in reach. We're already at $75 right now. We get to 300, we're singing happy birthday, we're chugging the boot, we're doing it all at once.
If we can get to 100 in the next 2 minutes or minute, we have $25.
Let's go 2 minutes.
$25. 2 minutes to get a $25 super chat. I'm going to hit a beer bong. Because, again, we're partying for the birthday boy.
We're having a great time.
Come on. I know you guys want to hang out.
2
minutes, and have a
minutes,
good time.
we get a $25 super chat. Then the beer bong is coming out. You know, I hear from Seahawks fans all the time, Trizzy, that say, why don't you get a beer, why don't you get a bong out?
Hey.
Well,
YouTube
doesn't allow that type of bong, but we can bring out the next best thing.
The other bong.
Right.
The beer bong.
The beer bong. A nice, second option of sorts. So $25. If we get it in the next 2 minutes, then we'll get out the beer bong and do some chugging and enjoy ourselves and have a good time. In the meantime, as we continue our build-up portion of the show, as you guys file in and get this show started today, grade the Seahawks off-season so far. Christopher is reminding people, use hashtag Seahawks if you want your questions. That's correct. Super chat or use hashtag Seahawks. Grade the Seahawks offseason so far. So coming up later on in the show, I'm going to do a whole segment grading the entire offseason, from draft picks to free agent signings and all of that. Believe it or not, the Seahawks did not do a single trade so far this offseason. That could change, but they haven't done not one to this point. So we will grade it piece by piece coming up in just a bit. But I want to hear from you guys first. How would you grade the offseason for the Seahawks to this point? ABC, D, or F, let us know what you think, and I'll give you my full, extensive, complete breakdown coming up later. Got about 20 seconds left on the clock. If we get a $25 super chat beer bong from Trizzy Trace before we officially get this show started. Alex with a $5 super chat. 20 away. 20 away. 20 seconds to go. Still time. Alex with a $5 super chat. I got to take a shot. I'll take a shot of the cookie dough again.
It's the good stuff, man.
It's the good stuff.
It's good stuff.
$5 super chat from Alex. What's the possibility Seattle goes 12-5, and are they Super Bowl contenders? Cheers, and then I'll answer. That is good. That is good. We're having a fun time today. 12-5. So my record prediction, I had the Seahawks going 11-6. And for me, the way I look at it, Trizzy, is like they did not get any favors with who they're having to play in the AFC.
Yep.
It's, for me, respect out of their opponents of why I have them as an 11-win football team. Could they go 12-5? Yeah, a couple things would have to go their way, but that's easier said than done, right? It's not just about Seattle, it's about the opponents they face too. Are they Super Bowl contenders? I look at the NFC. I think your first tier is San Francisco and Philadelphia. Oh, there we go! Beer bong, courtesy of Christopher Bryson, coming up in a few moments. I'll finish this question, then we'll get to Christopher here. But are they Super Bowl contenders? I think that the Eagles and the Niners are the first tier of the NFC, but the Seahawks are just another player or two away from joining that next tier. And we've heard Pete Carroll say they're not done, that they have business still to complete when it comes to assembling this roster. So they could join that upper tier, which then would make them Super Bowl contenders. So are they Super Bowl contenders at this moment in time? Not quite yet, but they very well could be when it's all said and done. They could be Super Bowl contenders. $20 super chat from Christopher. That means we have a beer bong from Trizzy Trace coming on the way as you guys pulled it off and got it done. We haven't even officially started the show yet, but you guys are down to party and get the beer bong going. I am not allowed to do the beer bong anymore for good reasons. But nonetheless, I'll give the beer cheers, and Trace will do the beer bong. Miller Lite, no Bud Light here. Cheers to the 12s and Christopher Bryson.
Light beer from Miller.
Light beer.
Light beer from Miller.
From Miller. Here we go. You guys wanted a bong. You got it here. Trizzy Trace about to just own this thing. You ready? All right. Give it a little stir. Spam 12 in the chat. Let's hear from the 12s today. Let's have ourselves a party. Let's have a good time. Spam those 12s in the chat. Here we go, Trace.
Happy birthday, Tyler.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Trace. There he goes. Wow. Just like that. Bang.
Deleted.
Deleted. Done. Gonza. And Trace delivers with the beer bong. Are you not entertained? Incredible. Incredible moment there. 12's checking in, PNW family, Pacific Northwest also with the 12s in the chat as well. All right. So $100 already in Super Chats. We haven't officially begun the show. We're going to get to our news and rumors segment next. And then after that, we will get to our offseason grades. And then we also have 2 mailbags to get to. If you're ready to start today's show, I need you to like the video. I got 11 likes so far. Guys, you can do better than that. Let's get to at least 25, and then we can officially start today's show. And to even make matters better for you, give you more reason to like today's video, I'm taking another shot when we get to 25 likes. So if you needed an extra incentive, there it is for you. Smash that like button or give it a little tickle, whatever you're feeling. Hit that like button.
Bang that like button.
Bang the like button, yeah. I mean, show some love to us. Let's try to get this show out to as many people as we can and enjoy ourselves today here on this Wednesday afternoon. 25 likes will start the show. I'm at 15 right now, need 10 more. In the meantime, while you guys are doing your work, let's show you what's on tap. News and rumors is next. We're talking about Dee Eskridge. We are talking about a number of guys that we'll get to coming up in just a few moments. Also, we'll do not one but 2 Q&A rumors mailbag segments. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on those, and then we'll do our offseason grades. 3 more likes, and then we'll start the show. Pablo with a $5 Super Chat as I get the cookie dough whiskey out. This stuff is good, I'm telling you, folks. Pablo says, happy birthday, Tyler. Enjoy your 27th birthday. Happy birthday, Tyler Jones. Pablo, cheers to you. Thank you for showing some love, and thanks for being a part of what we're doing here on the channel. Cheers to you. That's good. I need 2 more likes, and then we'll start this thing today. Alex, I see your question there. Hashtag Seahawks to get that on the mailbag, and we'll answer it. Another Tyler in the chat. Your message kind of disappeared. If whatever you got, let me know what it is. Michael says hello from the Bahamas. Welcome in. our international audience here on Seahawks Today. One more like, and then we're going to get going, but we'll start this news and rumors segment next. Michael says happy birthday. Thank you, Michael, for showing some love there. Trace, we all set? We good to go? 25 likes. All right, here we go. We will get started here with our first segment, news and rumors here on this Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Welcome in, Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, that says OTA takeaways. Try again, folks. No worries. For those of you watching the live show at home, no worries. We'll run it back. It should be at the very bottom of that first list. Yes, news and rumors. We got another super chat. Sorry, guys. Just a little technical difficulty. No worries.
This is why you subscribe. It's live television.
It's live. It happens. Live stuff happens, folks. It's all good. The man himself says, I think we can utilize Dee Eskridge strictly at kick and punt returner, give Tyler Lockett a break from special teams considering his age, and give Dee Eskridge a chance to shine somewhere. I agree. I would like to see Dee Eskridge more on special teams. I think that he could be an effective return man if the Seahawks chose to use him that way, the man himself. That's not a bad idea. Cheers to you. Thank you to the man himself. That puts us at 1:15 in Super Chats. Let's try one more time our news and rumors segments. Live show happens. Stuff happens, folks. No worries. Let's give that a shot one more time here on Seahawks Today. Welcome in. Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we have the latest Seattle Seahawks news and rumors as we'll begin talking about Dee Eskridge in a few moments. Also, The Athletic had an idea for what the Seahawks should do with Dee Eskridge. We'll dive into that. Also, we have some thoughts when it comes to potential free agent targets at the offensive tackle position and a roster update to get to in a matter of moments. Before we do, folks, we are right on the verge of 38,000 subscribers here on the channel, just about 20 away from getting there. We need your help to reach that next milestone. I believe that we can do it off of this video right here. Subscribe for free today, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. We have our live shows on Wednesdays. We do watch parties on game days, daily news and rumors segments. If you're a diehard Seahawks fan, this is the channel for you. Subscribe for free today, and you'll be glad you did. Let's start with the Athletic's Mike Jones, suggesting that Seattle could be cutting Dee Eskridge. Now, we've talked about this possibility on the channel before, but it seems like this could really be a reality for the Seahawks because they are depending on Dee Eskridge to finally develop, come into his own, but he hasn't really shown much throughout his career to this point. He's dealt with some injuries and a few different things, but can he emerge in camp even after you brought in Jackson Smith-Njigba? Here's what Mike Jones from The Athletic said. Eskridge, a 2021 second-round pick, was supposed to team with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf and give the Seahawks a strong trio of pass catchers. But in 2 seasons, Eskridge only has 17 catches for 122 yards in 1 touchdown. He needs a strong off-season showing, or the Seahawks could be ready to move on after drafting Ohio State wideout Jackson Smith-Njigba at number 20 in April. Now, Jonathan Adams of Heavy.com elaborated on what Mike Jones had to say and what the Jackson Smith-Njigba situation also means for this. Let's tell you what he had to say. The selection of Smith-Njigba shows the Seahawks have lost faith in Eskridge as a solution to be the team's third wideout. Yes, Eskridge could still be a valuable rotational player if the Seahawks receiver can stay on the field. The pressure is clearly on Dee Eskridge at this point to have an impact on this team, and there's no excuses, okay? And the impact can be in a couple of different ways. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that he's going to be the number 3 receiver because obviously you brought in Jackson Smith-Njigba now, but whether it's as a number 4 or 5 or a special team performer, whatever it may be, Dee Eskridge has got to figure it out one way or the other, and if he doesn't figure out by the time training camp ends, he won't have a roster spot. I know he doesn't cost Seattle that much, but pressure is on to do something. Dee Eskridge, former second-round pick out of Western Michigan back in 2021. He's played in 20 games in the last 2 seasons. That's it. Career stats, not anything to write home about. 17 receptions, 122 yards, and 1 touchdown. You look at the Seahawks wide receiver depth chart at this point, you can see there's a lot of guys competing for those roster spots with Metcalf, Lockett, Smith-Njigba, and Young leading the way as your top 4 receivers. But Dee Eskridge, Cade Johnson, Landers, Thompson. I mean, we've even talked about Jake Bobo a decent amount, who the Seahawks brought in as a UDFA. There's a number of guys competing for these spots, and nothing is guaranteed at this point for Dee Eskridge. He's got his work cut out for him to make this team. Even though it wouldn't save them a whole lot of money to cut him, it would save that roster spot for somebody else, whether that's another receiver or if they want to use it in another position. So we'll see if Dee makes it or not. Should the Seahawks cut Dee Eskridge? What do you think? This is our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Y for yes, in for no. Should the Seahawks cut Dee Eskridge or not? Let me know what you think. Y for yes, in for no. All right. Bleacher Report is suggesting the Seahawks still need to sign a backup swing tackle. And you may be saying to yourself, well, don't the Seahawks already have a couple different options? Who's available out there? Well, the answers to both those things would be yes. Here's more from David Kenyon of Bleacher Report on this possibility. David Kenyon says, Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas give Seattle a couple of promising young starting tackles. Still, the Seahawks should focus on improving the reserve group. They may believe in Stone, Forsyth, and Jake Curhan, but that's an uncomfortable view from the outside. And it is. I can understand where they may be coming from, if David's talking about, of these guys that may not be up to snuff to the rest of the world out there of being dependable when there is potentially better options with more experience for those roles. So you can see exactly where they're coming from of that idea. More on that. I'm going to show you some other options for that offensive tackle spot in a second. But first, we are selling hats on sale now, whether it's the draft hats or some of the other items that you can find out there. And they are on sale to you. A lot of different options out there. Chatsports.com/Seahawks Draft is where you can find those. We also have some beanies and other things on sale now. Get a hat now because, folks, it's getting hot outside. You want to wear a hat. Certainly, enjoy yourself and be rocking for summertime, representing your favorite team too. Get yours now. Chatsports.com/Seahawks Draft is where you can find some draft hats and more. Start getting yours today. Now, I like the idea of signing another offensive tackle, and it wouldn't cost you a whole lot either as far as I'm concerned with some of the potential options that are out there to be that backup swing tackle, because if something happened to Charles Cross or Abraham Lucas, then you want to feel comfortable that Geno Smith is going to be protected, and hopefully the offense would not miss a beat of some sorts. And you look at some of the free agent options out there, there's still some good ones. Taylor Lewan, who has had a very good career with the Tennessee Titans. George Fant, who Seahawk fans are familiar with. Brandon Shell as well. Jawan James is available out there, most recently with the Baltimore Ravens. And then Dennis Kelly also out there as well. All these guys have had significant playing time, playing at a high level, and I think you would be fine with them being your backup tackle and being prepared in case something does happen, or at least giving one of your starters a break of some sort. So, who is a player the Seahawks should sign? Whether it's at the offensive tackle spot or another position. Let us know in the comments section who you think the Seahawks should sign, and tell us who you think would be a good fit, and let me know. All right, last item on today's show. E.J. Perry previously played for the Texans and the Jaguars. He's been worked out by Seattle as a potential quarterback signing. Now, you look at the Seahawks, obviously Geno Smith and Drew Lock are going to be your guys leading the way as your number 1 and number 2 quarterbacks. But the NFL this week approved a measure that allows you to have an emergency third quarterback if your first 2 quarterbacks were to go down and be unavailable. So now if you're Seattle, all of a sudden things change where, we saw with San Francisco last year, they had a couple different quarterbacks go down. And so, with that, you have to start thinking about if the worst of the worst happened and be prepared for those circumstances. And so E.J. Perry, not a whole lot of starting experience or playing experience, rather, in the NFL for that matter. Could he be the guy potentially? He has been looked at, got the workout. Here's more from Jordan Schultz, what he had to say. Former Texans and Jaguars quarterback E.J. Perry worked out for the Seahawks. Sources tell the score. Perry was a two-time All-Ivy League performer at Brown and was the offensive MVP at the Shrine Bowl. He also had the top athleticism test score out of any quarterback at the Combine that last year. More on E.J. Perry. Let's tell you about him. Undrafted in 2020. Played for Brown University and also at Boston College. That's where he began his career with BC before moving on to Brown after that. His time at Brown, two-time first-team All-Ivy League in 2019 and 2021. The Ivy League, remember, they did not play collegiate football the 2020 COVID year. So he may have had a chance to be a three-time first-teamer if he would have had that COVID year back. Last year with the Jags and the Texans, but still hanging around looking for another chance of some sorts. We'll see if it ultimately ends up with the Seattle Seahawks or not. Grade the Seahawks roster. What do you think of where things stand right now with this group? Still trying to edge some things out and trying to fine-tune it before the season begins. What do you think where things are at right now? How would you grade the roster? Let me know. ABCDRF in the comments section below. Interact with me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Tyler Jones Live. You can find me there talking about your Seattle Seahawks, and I shall see you next time right here on Seahawks Today. All right. There we go. So that's one segment in the books. Got 3 more to go, 2 more Q&As, and also we will be touching on off-season grades. We'll get to that here in just a second. But first, today is National Brothers Day. Do you have a brother? If so, shout out his name or type in for no. Triz, I'll be honest, I don't have a brother. My sister and I only have one sibling, my younger sister. We always said we wanted a brother growing up, but we never got another brother. I was the only male sibling of the bunch. Just me and my younger sister is all we had. So I do not have a brother, but you got a younger brother, right?
I do. I have a younger brother right now. He just finished up his freshman year of college at Oklahoma State. He's got a killer mullet too. He's got a absolutely great mullet. So wish I could have the hair that he did, to be honest.
Yeah, let's see. B&W family says, got a younger brother. His name is Caleb. Seahawks fan says Lucas. Peter says he's got a brother named Tyler Jones. Calvin says the same thing. I guess I'm a brother from another. That's how that goes. I'll be your brother. I will accept being the brother of the 12s. I take that as a badge of honor. Thank you, Calvin. Thank you, Peter, for showing some love there and calling me your brother. I like this from Botcha Director. Yeah, his name is DK Metcalf. That's a good answer as well. Shout out to all the brothers out there. Wish I had one, but you know what? I got people like Trizzy Trace and my others here at Chat Sports that are my brothers. As far as that goes. Stoner Television, using the hashtag Seahawks. That's how you do it as we get to our mailbag coming up in just a few moments. Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on our mailbag segment coming up in just a moment. Jaden says I have 3. Calvin says that's right. Happy birthday. Thank you, Calvin, for the love there. Hashtag Seahawks Super Chat to get on the mailbag segment. Our mailbag questions, if you Super Chat, you get to the front of the line. If you use the hashtag Seahawks, you can still be on the mailbag, but we prioritize the Super Chat questions first. We can get the Super Chats on screen within a minute or so. So it's a pretty cool deal there. Edward says, Keith, R.I.P. Shout out there. Sorry about that, Edward. Jaden's got 3 brothers, Kavion, Antoine, and a long-lost brother, Gabe, 7, 5, and 16. Very cool, Jaden. Thanks for shouting out your brothers there. Very cool. Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag. Our first of 2 mailbag segments we'll be getting to. Drew shouting out Gene, Jerry, John, and Ryan, the 4 brothers there for those segments. Trace, let's run through that Super Chat menu so people see what we're offering today. When you Super Chat, not only are you getting on the front of the line for the mailbag, but also you have a chance to enjoy ourselves as we're having a a little bit of party today, a little bit of a birthday party for yours truly. Turning 27 on Memorial Day myself. But 12s, thanks for all the love today. Let me reply to this message, Trace. In the meantime, can you go over the Super Chat menu here? Let me reply to this message, and Trace is going to guide you through of what we are offering on the menu here for this this fine Wednesday afternoon happy hour here on Seahawks Today. Trace, we're having a good time, but we're really just getting the party started.
Oh, yeah, it's just getting started, guys. So pretty much any super chat of any value. Ask us a question, we'll answer it. You can ask us about our day. You can ask us about the Seahawks. You can ask us about whatever you want. $5, birthday shots. We're giving Tyler shots for his birthday. He's been doing some cookie dough whiskey. We got PB&J whiskey. We also got Fireball. $10 beer cheers. $25 beer chug. Every $300, we're doing a Das Boot. If you send $100, you are inducted to the Boot Hall of Fame.
And Pablo with the 50 is already halfway there. So Pablo could, and actually he's sending a 5 too, so he's about $45 away from a spot in the Boot Hall of Fame. $100, this could be you, a spot in the Boot Hall of Fame. Any super chat, shout out, $5. We're taking birthday shots. I got the cookie dough whiskey, got the Fireball in hand. We're enjoying ourselves. $10, little beer cheers. Got my Coolers Light in hand here. Mountains are blue. $25, do a beer chug. And every $300, we'll do Das Boot. We're at $115 right now. But I believe that we can get there by the end of the day. We can get to 300, take down the boot, and we can sing happy birthday while we're at it too. So let's go ahead and get to our mailbag. Trace, we all set? We good to go? Cool. All right, first of two mailbags today. Evan, I see you using asking a question there. Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat, and you too can be on the mailbag, and I'll answer your question coming up in just a few moments. Here we go. Mailbag time. Mailbag time here on Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we will answer your questions that you guys sent us from our live shows that we do on Wednesdays each week. And these questions we answer in real time. People send us super chats or they use hashtag Seahawks, and we react to their questions. And it's a pretty awesome deal. So I encourage you, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and be a part of our mailbag segments. So when you subscribe, turn on those notifications, and you'll be alerted when we go live to be a part of these mailbag segments. Best part about it, doesn't cost you a thing. Absolutely 100% free, guaranteed to subscribe and be a part of our mailbag segments here on the channel. Let's start with a $5 super chat from Alex. Thank you, Alex, for that. What's the possibility of Seattle going 12-5, and are they Super Bowl contenders? So let me put it this way to you, Alex. As far as it goes of the possibility of Seattle going 12-5, in my record prediction video that we brought to you about a week or two ago, I said Seattle would go 11-6. That was my official prediction for the Seahawks. 12-5 is possible, but you have to have a couple things go your way when it comes to injuries and then also out of respect for your opponent. And the Seahawks do not have an easy schedule by any means. So is 12-5 possible? It is, but it's not what I'm picking out of respect to the teams that they play as far as that goes. You're going to take some, and you're going to lose some that you don't expect to lose to as well, just the way cookie crumbles sometimes in the National Football League. I mean, who would have thought last year the Chiefs would have lost to the Colts? But that happened. Are the Seahawks Super Bowl contenders? Well, think about this. I think the NFC, it starts with the Eagles and the Niners. Those are your two top teams. And then the next tier is teams like Seattle, Dallas, the Giants, and others. We've heard from Pete Carroll say they're not done. They have still more moves to be made. If they make the right moves going forward, they could potentially join that upper tier. And, yeah, they would be Super Bowl contenders if they do so. Thanks, Alex. $10 super chat from the man himself. Thank you, the man himself. I think we can utilize Dee Eskridge strictly at kick and punt return and give Tyler Lockett a break from special teams, considering his age, and it gives Dee Eskridge a chance to shine somewhere. Yeah, I would like to see Dee Eskridge find a role in some way, shape, or form. We know he's a talented football player. Obviously, he's already been passed over for the third wide receiver position. So where does he ultimately end up? That's a great question. But if they could find him in special teams, then that'd be awesome to see. Then it might be worth keeping him around. Remember, he might get cut not because they need the money. He doesn't cost that much, but they might need the roster spot if he doesn't step it up. So yeah, let's see him get a shot. Just get on the field and be effective in some way, shape, or form. Seahawks fan 123 with a $20 super chat. Bang! Thank you for that. Seahawks fan 123. Do you think Miles Adams will be as good as a starting nose tackle? And should we re-sign Jordan Brooks at the end of this season? Seahawks fan 123, if you're watching on our live stream, we will pay off your super chat coming up in a few moments. But as far as the rest of you that are watching on our taped version here, let me say this. Miles Adams, I think that he's fine, but I think Seattle could do better. I think they could be looking to I think they're looking to upgrade that position as far as that goes. No knock on Miles Adams, but they can do better than Miles Adams. As far as re-signing Jordan Brooks, all depends on how he comes back from this ACL injury. If he looks good, if he looks healthy, then he'll be back. But if he doesn't play that great, if he doesn't recover right from this injury, then yeah, you could move on from him and call it quits there. We'll see how he looks from the injury, but I would guess that more than likely he's going to be back in Seattle in 2024. Seahawks Fanatic writes, #Seahawks, here is my new name. How about that? How about signing Matt Ioannidis to play in the interior of the D-line? Matt Ioannidis, I can't believe he's still sitting out in free agency as far as I'm concerned. Started his career with the Washington Commanders, went on to the Carolina Panthers, and I was reading about Matt Ioannidis this past week. And the folks at Walter Football, which is like an old school OG football scouting report site, if you know, you know, folks. They describe Matt Ioannidis this way. Matt Ioannidis is a solid, well-rounded defensive tackle with no weaknesses. Sold. You got me right there. I mean, you look at what Seattle's looking for. They don't have a whole lot of money to spend. You're trying to just get a little bit better, right? Just try to find those little gaps. Matt Ioannidis, I think, could go a long way and be a nice improvement for this team on the defensive line. I would be all in favor of signing Matt Ioannidis, and I think at this juncture he's probably not going to cost you a ton either. Should the Seahawks sign Matt Ioannidis? What do you think? Y for yes, in for no. Should the Seahawks do this move or not? Tell me what you think in the comment section, if you like the idea or not. Y for yes, in for no. Feel free to elaborate further what you think of this possibility. Caleb writes, how do you think our defense will rank after the draft and free agency? So last year, the Seahawks had one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Let's be real with y'all, because we keep it 100 here on Seahawks Today. The defense was not good. In particular, the run defense specifically struggled mightily, and they got ran over. Now, the Seahawks defense is much improved this year, but there is still work to be done to improve this group, and that's why you're hearing Pete Carroll and others say that they are still shopping around of some sorts. I think that this defense can be a top 15 defense. I think that's a fair assessment that they can be in that group, but run defense is still an issue. That still needs to be worked on, and that's still a weakness for this team. So while their total defense might be in the top 15, run defense-wise, they're going to be in the bottom half of the league, based on where this roster stands right now. So that's what I'm looking at, Caleb. Stoner Television writes in, if Jamal Adams has a good season, should we sign C.J. Gardner? I think he's talking about C.J. Gardner-Johnson there. Cut Diggs or cut both if Adams gets hurt. Sign C.J. Gardner next season, Julian Love and C.J. Gardner. Okay, so a lot of mentions about C.J. Gardner there as far as that goes. You know, I wonder about that. I'll say this much. Jamal Adams, I know this might frustrate some Seahawks fans out there, but hear me out on this. If he stays healthy and has a good season, he might still be one of the best values out there because nobody, Seahawks included, is going to want to pay him a lot of money. If he's sitting out there and is not demanding a whole lot, it actually might be worth bringing Jamal Adams back and getting him a new deal of some sorts there. C.J. Gardner, we'll see. Julian Love, I love, no pun intended, Julian Love. I think that he's going to be a great addition for the Seahawks for a long time. We'll see, but still some work to be done there. Thank you, Stoner Television, for that. Billy writes in, should the Seahawks consider signing Cameron Brate? Would he be an upgrade from what they already have at the tight end position? Well, you look at where the Seahawks are at right now at the tight end spot. You have, of course, Will Dissly, Noah Fant, and Colby Parkinson. And I think Cameron Brate is along the same lines of talent, maybe actually even less than those guys. I don't think you're improving much if you bring in Cameron Brate and then paying him and moving a roster spot and all that. I don't think that makes a ton of sense. Cameron Brate played alongside Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and had Tom Brady throwing him the football, and he just looked okay. You know, he didn't play to his full potential of what most people thought he was capable of. So Cameron Brate, no, I'm out on the idea of Cameron Brate, personally. I know that Seattle wants to upgrade that tight end position at some point, that you have good tight ends, but you want to have great tight ends. Cameron Brate's not a great tight end. No thanks. I don't think Cameron Brate's that guy. Should the Seahawks sign Cameron Brate? What do you think about that possibility? S for sign, P for pass. Tell me what you think in the comments section if Seattle should make a move for Cameron Brate or not. S for sign, P for pass. Cam writes in, thoughts on the new NFL fair catch rules on kickoffs. What's next? We start playing special teams plays out of Madden. Cam, I hate it. I think it sucks. I thought it was a bad decision. The coaches and the special teams coaches and the players hated it, but the owners wanted to do their own thing in the name of player safety. We already see this rule in college of fair catching between the end zone and the 25-yard line. I think it's ridiculous. I think you take a whole element out of the game that's very important in the return game. Devin Hester would not be the player that he is in today's NFL with all these terrible rules that we've created on special teams. I mean, I hate it that you can't even jump over a guy when you're going to block a kick, that you just have to stand there. I mean, to me, that's ridiculous. If you can jump the pile, do all that. I mean, you're taking a whole other element in what's supposed to be 1/3 of the game in special teams. To me, it's ridiculous. What I think the NFL should do, and I've heard a lot of people suggest this, and I like this idea of the XFL-style kickoff. Fun fact, back in 2020, I was at the St. Louis Battlehawks and the New York Guardians game, the first ever XFL game in St. Louis. And I witnessed the first ever XFL kickoff return for touchdown in this style format of these players just 5 yards apart from each other. You don't get the running start. It's safe, and it's still exciting, allows the kickoff return. I think that you could have the best of both worlds if you go with that type of kickoff return where player safety but also excitement come together. That's what the NFL should be looking to do, Cam. Matthew with the final question in our mailbag. Need a designated punt and kick returner. Who would be the 4th-string wide receiver? Maybe that's Dee Eskridge. Maybe that is. Potentially. But, Matthew, I agree. You need a guy that's like in baseball terms, like a utility player, right? I agree. You need something like that to that effect and to relieve guys like Tyler Lockett and others from having to do kick and punt returns. Not a bad idea, Matthew, the sexy with a bit of gangster swag that you got going on there. Thank you, Matthew. Name a player the Seahawks should sign. Who somebody comes to mind that you'd like to see this team add in free agency? Give me one name, whether it's somebody we've talked about today or somebody we haven't talked about. Let me know in the comments section below, and we'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today. All right, NBA Finals is set to start here in the next couple days. We do know that we are going to see the Denver Nuggets and probably the Miami Heat, depending on how things go in that series with the Boston Celtics. Who is going to win the NBA championship? Yes. It happened, but yes. What do you guys think? Who is going to win the NBA championship? Trizzy, what's your thoughts? How do you see the NBA? I'm rooting for the Nuggets. I want to see Joker get that title.
Jimmy Butler's won me over.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler has won me over, and I know that Jokic could go and get the first ring for Denver. I think that'd be a really cool storyline to see. But, man, Jimmy Butler is playing a type of basketball that is just very, very fun to watch. So I'm going with the Heat. bad, but I think I want the Heat to win.
Peter says Miami in 6 against Denver. You know, I think I'm leaning towards Denver in 5. I'm thinking Denver in 5, a gentleman's sweep to get the job done and win the NBA title. Kaylee says the Heat is on. Okay, Kaylee. So Kaylee's going with the Heat. Peter's got the Heat. So far, a pro-Heat chat. One day we might see the Supersonics back in there. Hopefully,
That'd be cool.
The Sonics make a return at some point in time. What say you guys? Who is going to win the NBA championship? Are you watching? Christian says Nuggets in 5. Cam says Jokic in Denver in 5. So there we go. I'm convincing people Denver in 5 is the pick. We had a $20 super chat come in earlier that I said I would pay off. And I'm a man of my word. It came in right when we were in the middle of the mailbag section. This $20 super chat coming in from Seahawks fan 123. We answered that earlier. Thank you, Seahawks fan 123. $20 super chat. That means that I owe a beer cheers and a couple birthday shots. And in case you're just now joining us, it is yours truly's birthday here in a couple days. And so we're having a little Seahawks Today get-together, a little Seahawks Today birthday party. So cheers to Seahawks fan. Appreciate you for doing that. And I'll take a couple shots. Trace, it has already been a day, but the celebration's just begun. We're $135 right now, so a little over halfway towards Das Boot. Here's a drink. I'll drink this, and then I'm going to take a shot of Fireball, too, to pay this off. But this is what we're offering today. We're enjoying ourselves, having a good time. Happy hour. Still the middle of the afternoon out west, but that doesn't stop us from having a good time here in the channel. Cookie dough whiskey. That's a win-win. Kaylee says, Tyler Hero is my basketball crush. Tyler Hero's injured right now, but nonetheless, showing some love for Tyler Hero. Pacific Northwest says the Supersonics in 4. If only. If only that were the case. Christian says Nuggets have too much size for the Heat. Heat will get completely wrecked. Okay. That's a fair take. We'll see. Oh, yeah, love the Supersonics. Yeah, love the Supersonics. Cheers. There we go. Kaylee says, woohoo, happy birthday. Thank you, Kaylee. Here's your opportunity to get me drunk and celebrate with a drink. Every $5 super chat today, we're taking a shot so I can go home feeling good when it's all said and done. 2 segments down, 2 to go. Up next, we're going to give some grades for the offseason for the Seahawks and share that assessment of how I think the Seahawks have done so far. We'll go over all the free agent signings and draft picks for the Seahawks. Also, we will do one more mailbag coming up later. Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get to the mailbag. Peter says just don't trash talk Jimmy Butler and the Nuggets will be fine. Jimmy Butler, he's a lot of fun to watch. I love seeing what Jimmy Butler's done in the postseason, not only this year but in years previously as well. He is something special. Love some Jimmy Butler there. Next up, off-season grades. Trace, we're about ready to go here. We'll run through these one by one and give you my thoughts on what the Seahawks have done so far to this point as they're in the middle of OTAs right now and where this team is at, rebuilding, retooling this roster. I got some grades we'll give you here coming up in just a few moments here on Seahawks Today. Yep. Welcome in, Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, I have off-season grades for your Seattle Seahawks. I'll share with you of what the Seahawks have done this offseason, whether it was in free agency or draft picks that they've made, and we will grade every scenario that the Seahawks have went through over the last couple of months and tell you about all the players that they've added coming up in just a matter of moments. If you've liked the Seahawks offseason to this point, then go ahead and like today's video. And personally, I love what the Seahawks have done this offseason. If you feel that way too, go ahead and like today's video. If not, if you haven't liked what the Seahawks have done, comment and tell me why you don't like what Seattle's done this offseason. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Like the video, if you've liked the offseason. If not, comment and tell me why and let me know what you think. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to break down the Seahawks moves in the draft and in free agency. The Seahawks have not made any trades to this point. That could change, obviously, but at least for the time being, everything that they've done has been through the draft and free agency of new players that they've acquired through this roster. Let's show you the outlook of where things stand right now as we gear towards the home stretch of the offseason. Team needs as they stand right now for the Seahawks include the interior of the defensive line and the interior of the offensive line. That appears to be the glaring weaknesses at this point, in particular, the interior of the defensive line. Notable additions in free agency include Bobby Wagner, Julian Love, Devin Bush, Draymond Jones, just to name a few of what the Seahawks have done so far to this point. Top draft picks include Devin Witherspoon, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and others. We'll get to all of that. The Seahawks trying to improve off of last year's 9-8 record, which got them the final playoff spot in the NFC. And, as I look at this roster and what Seattle's doing, taking two steps back, you kind of have to remind yourself, remember, the Seahawks are 2 years in to this, I don't even like to call it a rebuild, retooling of the roster, right? And with what that they have done, with the money they've paid Geno Smith, with the money they've given DK Metcalf last offseason, and Draymond Jones and Bobby Wagner, and just being aggressive as they've had, this team is all in win now mode right now. And it's funny because if you would have asked folks, at this time a year ago, they would have said, hey, it's a complete rebuild. Things are starting over for Seattle. But that's not the case. Seattle has still been competitive while getting younger at the same time. Now is the chance that they have to capitalize on this opportunity, go all in to try to win that championship and build a championship caliber roster. That's what John Schneider says Seattle's doing. Let's see if they do it. How would you grade the Seahawks roster as things stand right now? A, B, C, D, or F. Graded for me where things are at this point. Tell me what you think of the Seahawks roster at this point in time. Let's start with the free agent signings. At the end of the regular season last year, an extension for the future, Jason Myers stuck around with the Seahawks, getting a new deal. Jason Myers had a nice bounce-back year last year. Looks like he's going to be around for a while. Phil Haynes also got a new deal. He is going to be back as well and expected to be one of the starting offensive guards for the Seahawks in 2023. Then the big bang that started off the free agency period. Before the free agency window even opened, the Seahawks agreed to a new deal with Geno Smith. And although it was a significant pay raise for Geno Smith from what he's made his entire career, it was still a move for Seattle that was team-friendly. If Geno would have gone to the open market, probably would have commanded more money. So things certainly worked out there for Geno Smith coming off the best season of his career. Draymond Jones, you brought in from the Denver Broncos. He's going to be an immediate starter for this team, an instant impact player. A lot of money dished out to him, a lot of excitement what he brings to the table. Old friend Jaron Reed is back in Seattle. He'll be one of your starting defensive linemen on this roster right away after spending time in Kansas City and in Green Bay. Julian Love, one of my favorite signings, especially when you talk about value. And what are the Seahawks necessarily going to do with Julian Love? Is he going to start at safety? Is he going to play nickelback? Are we going to see three high safeties? A lot of flexibility that Julian Love potentially brings to the table. Evan Brown expected to be your starting center. You bring him in from the Detroit Lions, and although the PFF grades and all that aren't that great at Evan Brown, I think he is an upgrade from what you had previously, and he kind of is a stopgap guy. You drafted Olu from Michigan. The hope is that Olu could eventually step in and be that starting center at some point, but at least for now, Evan Brown's good to hold the spot. Drew Lock is back. Drew Lock has starting experience. I know he didn't take a single snap last year for the Seahawks in the regular season, but there's no reason why Drew Lock can't be a quality backup in this league, and he's comfortable in this system. The Seahawks seem to like him a lot. Made a lot of sense to bring Drew Lock back. Devin Bush is in at linebacker, and the good news for Seattle is Devin Bush as much as he's had his struggles and his ups and downs, if Jordan Brooks is back healthy, you're not asking Devin Bush to be a starter, that he would be a backup linebacker for this team behind Bobby Wagner, who we'll talk about next, and also behind Jordan Brooks. But if Jordan Brooks isn't ready to go right away, Devin Bush is just fine to fill that role and to be a rotational piece until Jordan Brooks gets back. And then there was Bobby Wagner, who was a big deal for the Seahawks to ultimately end up bringing back to this team. I think all of us sat back and looked last year and said to ourselves, man, it's disappointing to see Bobby Wagner walk out the door and go to an arch rival team like the Rams. It didn't necessarily work out there like they had hoped. But Bobby Wagner still proved himself last year that he's still one of the best linebackers in the NFL. The Seahawks had a major need at the linebacker spot. He's going to be your play caller on the defensive side of the ball, and he's going to make a lot less money than he did previously. So Bobby Wagner, that's a win for Seattle. Free agency, I give this an A for Seattle. I think that they were aggressive. They made some great moves. I like where this team is at, and I think that they're in good shape for this win-now scenario that they're in, of making the most of what they had to work with and the cap space and all that, and just the aggressive negotiating of getting Geno at that price, for getting Bobby Wagner at a big discount compared to what you were paying him previously. That's an A for me. Who was your favorite free agent signing that the Seahawks put together this offseason? Who comes to mind of all those guys we ran through and we talked about? We didn't even talk about the UDFAs, but who was your favorite free agent signing? Let me know in the comment section below who comes to mind. All right, let's go through the draft picks of who the Seahawks brought in. They began with Devin Witherspoon with a number 5 overall pick. A lot of people thought that they were going to go with Jalen Carter with that number 5 selection. Ultimately, Devin Witherspoon is the guy, the corner from Illinois, the best corner in this draft. Corner wasn't the highest priority need for Seattle, but now you have found a great complement alongside Tariq Woolen to have a fantastic secondary there. Then you go with Jackson Smith-Njigba with the next pick in the first round at pick number 20 from Ohio State. And Smith-Njigba, I think, was the best receiver in this draft. He did have the hamstring injury, but he is saying that he is 100% healthy now, that he's good to go. So that's great to see for Seattle. Then you get Derek Hall in the second round at pick number 37, the edge rusher from Auburn. May have been a reach there. Tom Downey here at Chat Sports gave him a third-round grade, but the Seahawks seem to like what he brings to the table. He'll be a rotational player right away. Zach Charbonnet, the Seahawks took also in the second round at 52, running back from UCLA. Charbonnet, I think you're going to see him split carries with Kenneth Walker, and it's going to be a good thing to see them share that load together and not take too much on, keep each other fresh. Anthony Bradford, you get from LSU at 108. Anthony Bradford, I want to rule out the possibility of him eventually becoming a starter at some point this year with his potential that he brings to the table. Then Cameron Young, the defensive tackle from Mississippi State. With the shortage that the Seahawks have on the interior of the defensive line, Cam Young is going to get the opportunity to play right away for Seattle. Mike Morris at defensive end from Michigan, I liked a lot. He's going to be a development project of some sorts. We'll see how much playing time he gets immediately. Olu will back up Evan Brown for now, but if something happens to Evan Brown, watch out. Olu could have an opportunity to start, and maybe we see him rotate as a backup guard of some sorts too. Jarek Reed has been kind of the talk of the offseason ever since arriving to Seattle. The 6th-round pick from New Mexico is somebody that's caught the eye of coaches and the media, was under the radar, was not talked about a whole lot out of Mexico, and he's certainly making some noise. And then Kenny McIntosh, the second running back the Seahawks drafted, a really good pass catcher, won 2 national titles with the Georgia Bulldogs the past 2 seasons. Watch out to see what Kenny McIntosh can do and possibly be very involved in the passing game. The draft, I gave it an A as well for this Seahawks team. I thought that they did a really good job of finding talented players and also being in a position where, okay, maybe this wasn't our need, but this was a player we couldn't pass up by going with the talent and not ignoring that. To me, I liked the strategy. Didn't agree with every pick, but but I thought the Seahawks did a really good job with their evaluations and what they found in these players, especially in those later rounds. To me, it was an A of what they did in the draft. Who was the Seahawks' best draft pick? And I'm talking about not just the overall talent, but the player in value of the pick that they made. Let me know what you think in the comment section, what the best draft pick for the Seahawks was. Folks, got to have you subscribe to the channel. We're talking about your Seahawks each and every day with the latest news and rumors. We also are doing live shows on Wednesday afternoons. We'll do our watch parties during game days. And just because the offseason is kind of slowing down doesn't mean we're slowing down here on the channel. We'll continue to bring you daily content, and the best part about it, it's free. If the Seahawks make a big move of some sorts, whether it's a trade, another free agent signing, whatever it may be, you know we're going to cover it here on the channel. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV for more. So the next question. Now that the Seahawks have wrapped up, for the most part, their free agent signings and the draft and all that, where does this team go from here? Well, in the immediate future for this year, we've heard Pete Carroll say they're not done, that they still have some work to do, in particular, that they want to find help on the interior of the defensive line for this season. And I believe Pete Carroll when he says that. I think that they are still looking around, trying to evaluate their options, whether it's a trade, free agency, whatever it may be. I think that there's still another addition to come there. As far as the long term of what's next, you have Geno Smith on a 3-year contract, but only 1 year of that is guaranteed. I think the Seahawks are still thinking about finding their future quarterback for the long term, and that gets pushed back another year potentially to next offseason. We heard that they liked Anthony Richardson and C.J. Stroud in particular in this past draft, but ultimately neither one of them were available when Seattle picked at 5. Look out for next year to see Seattle potentially find that next guy, and maybe they even sit behind Geno Smith potentially. But at least for the immediate, they're fine with Geno. For the long term, look out for next year to be when they find their next quarterback potentially. My overall grade for the offseason was an A. The Seahawks did what they needed to do to take that next step to compete at a high level at the NFC. Still more work to be done. Don't believe that they're finished, but they made the most of what they had, I felt. I liked what I saw from Seattle. Rate the Seahawks 2023 offseason. What do you think? How would you score it 1 through 100? Tell me in the comment section what you think of what they did. 1 through 100. Let me know how you think the Seahawks did with the moves that they've made. Hit me up on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Tyler Jones Live. You can find me there, and I'll see you next time here on the channel. All right. So there's another segment down. We have a mailbag on the way. Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the said mailbag. In the meantime, though, what was the best move the Seahawks made this offseason? Whether it was somebody they drafted or somebody they signed, what was the best move? Tell us in the comment section. Trace rejoins me right now. Trace, what do you think? What was the best move that we saw from the Seahawks? I see Brian says Bobby Wagner. Tom says Bobby Wagner for sure. So does Pacific Northwest. The consensus seems to be Bobby here.
I was going to say, it feels like either signing Bobby Wagner. I personally am a big fan of drafting JSN. In round 1, that was a big move. It gives Geno just another guy. It gives you flexibility moving forward with guys like Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. I really liked that draft pick for Seattle. So I'm going to have to say that. But in terms of free agency, Bobby Wagner was just such a good move for the Seahawks. And like you said, he's getting paid less than what he was originally. So
significantly less.
Even better of a move. Better of a move.
I thought so. And with not knowing where Jordan Brooks, his status is right now, we don't know if he's going to be ready for the time the season starts. It made a lot of sense to bring Bobby Wagner back. So Adriano says Bobby and re-signing Drew Lock. Let's see. Adriano says, I can imagine us to go with Drew Lock in the long term. Kid's good. I disagree. Drew Lock's not your long-term solution at quarterback, but I wouldn't mind him being your backup at least for a long time either, potentially. Tom says Devin Witherspoon was the best pick. Adriano says Charbonnet. Brian says Spoon. So that's the consensus seems to be Bobby Wagner, but some good opinions there coming in from the 12s here. One more segment to go. Our mailbag segment is next. And in particular, I want to see what trade questions you guys have for me. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get your trade questions that we'll answer coming up in just a few moments. And if you need a little extra incentive, besides getting your questions first in the mailbag, today we're having a little birthday celebration here on Seahawks Today for yours truly. I'm turning 27 on Monday, and so I want to drink and enjoy ourselves, have a good time. Any Super Chat today gets you a shout-out. We will show you some love here on the show. $5, a little birthday shot for yours truly. I got some cookie dough whiskey, Fireball in hand. We'll enjoy ourselves. $10, little beer cheers. $25, beer chug. Every $300, we'll do Dust Boot. We're at $135 right now, so a little over halfway to get Dust Boots. $100, you get a spot in the Boot Hall of Fame. Pablo is getting close. He's about 45 away, but it can be done. So here's the deal. Here's the deal, folks. We're going to do this next segment. We're going to answer your questions, answer your Super Chats, whatever you got. And then we'll come back, and we can keep the party going and keep answering your questions or, enjoying ourselves, having a few drinks, whatever it may be. But it's up to you guys. If you keep on Super Chatting, then we can keep on partying and having a good time. If not, we can sign off and call it a night. So that is what's in store as we head towards our final segment. Trace, that sounds like a good deal, right? You want to party?
I love
Super
to party.
Chat, we can enjoy ourselves.
Love to party.
Tom says, how did Tex get the day off? Tex is here. He's got other stuff he's working on. If you want Tex, we could probably bring him in if you'd like to see
Tom,
Tex.
am I not good enough, man? What the hell?
Right? Trizzy's here with us. Always a good time.
I can tell you what, Tex ain't hitting a beer bong.
Tex is not hitting a beer bong. No.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But, Tom, shout out Tex, though. Tex always a trooper.
Shout out Tex. Go Texer.
We love Texer around here. But Trizzy in the house with me today, and we're having a great time. But nonetheless, one more segment, and then we'll come back to the Super Chat menu and stay as long as you guys need. But it's up to you guys. We'll see. Get your questions in. Hashtag Seahawks Super Chat to get on the mailbag. Looking for trade questions in particular. As we mentioned, the Seahawks have made not one trade this offseason. You got any ideas for John Schneider? You want to work the trade machine for him of some possibilities of what they can do? As I try to fix my hair with this headset. I've been struggling with this headset today, not going to lie. Let me know what you think. Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat and get your questions in there. All right. We all good to go, Trizzy? All right. Let's answer your questions here on our mailbag. Mailbag time here on Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we'll answer whatever questions you got. Comes from our live show where folks are using the hashtag Seahawks or Super Chatting, and they are getting their questions on the mailbag segment. And you may be saying to yourself, man, I'd love to be a part of the mailbag sometime. Well, you're in luck because you, too, can be a part of our mailbag segments if you join us for our live shows on Wednesday. Subscribe, turn on notifications. That way you are alerted when we go live here on the channel and answer your questions in real time. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Subscribe for free today, and you'll be glad you did. First question comes from Evan. Evan wants to know, do you think JSN, Jackson Smith-Njigba, is going to be top 30 wide receivers in the NFL? Absolutely, I do. I think JSN was the only true wide receiver one in this year's class. I think everybody else was a wide receiver two. And, with that said, on the depth chart right now, he's going to be a wide receiver 3. And I'm very optimistic about what he will bring for this Seahawks team to come. I think you're going to see an immediate impact. Sounds like the hamstring is not an issue. JSN's going to be fantastic. Looking forward to see what he brings to the table, and he's going to be fun for this Seahawks team as far as that goes. Evan, I do think that he's going to be a top 30 receiver probably by the end of this season, believe it or not. Dr. John writes, got a trade idea. What about Ed Oliver from the Bills? Well, Dr. John, that's an interesting idea. Ed Oliver, huh? So let's go back in time a little bit. Ed Oliver was coming out of the University of Houston, and he was all that in a bag of chips coming out of Houston. He was thought to be, before his final year with the Houston Cougars, one of the best players in college football, was on pace to be the number one pick, Had some character concerns, goes to the Bills. Things have been kind of up and down, but the talent is there, no question about it, when it comes to Ed Oliver. And I don't think his price tag would be outrageous of some sorts. I know the Bills and him haven't always been on the same page. I'd love to see him fit in Seattle and get a shot with this Seahawks team. I like the idea of Ed Oliver, and it would fill a need potentially on that defensive line for the Seahawks. Yes, Ed Oliver, I'm all in. Should the Seahawks trade for Ed Oliver? If they got the chance, should they bring in Ed Oliver from the Buffalo Bills? This is our pin comment today. You might get an ad break, if so, take advantage of it. And let me know. Live for yes, in for no. Should the Seahawks trade for Ed Oliver or not? Tell me what you think in the comments section. Peter writes, what should be our biggest priority for our final pick for next year? Defensive lineman or a future quarterback? First-round pick, rather. Biggest priority? Hard to say yet because we don't know where the Seahawks are going to be picking. Let's just say for all intents and purposes, if things go bad for Seattle and they don't have the year that they expect, if they're picking inside the top 10, in particular the top 5, then you go ahead and get your franchise quarterback. We've talked in this show previously. You're looking at guys like Caleb Williams, Drake May, among others. It's a very good quarterback class next year. Now, if you're picking later in the draft, those elite, great quarterbacks are probably gone by then. Then you'll look at defensive lineman options. So it all depends on the scenario the Seahawks are in. If it's early in the draft, go find that quarterback. If it's later, then go prioritize with the defensive lineman there. So that's what I'm looking at there, Peter. Thanks for the question. Evan writes, what do you think the Seahawks record is going to be? Well, Evan, we did a whole video a couple weeks ago, record prediction video. And I think when you look at where things stack up for the Seahawks and where they're at, the schedule is not easy. Does not do them any favors as far as the opponents they face, in particular their AFC opponents. And so when you do the record prediction, you have to have respect for the opponent, right? And so with that said, I think Seattle realistically can be about an 11-6 team. I think that's fair because of how tough the schedule is going to be. And you're always going to lose one or two games you're not supposed to as well. So 11-6, I think that's a fair answer. Could they win more than that? Could they win less than that? Yes. But I think that's a good kind of middle ground, middle number for Seattle as far as what they could achieve coming up this upcoming season. We got Seahawks hats on sale now. You go back and find our draft hats, which are still looking good. I mean, they don't have the draft logo on them, so they're still good hats. You can get those now at chatsports.com/draft. Also, we're selling some beanies and some other things. They're on sale now. Get these hats while supplies last. I got to tell you, they're looking pretty snazzy. All sorts of draft hats and other things there for you, whether you like the flat bill or if you like the baseball cap style, whatever it may be. Get your Seahawks hats now, right in time for the summer, working in the yard. Maybe you wear it to the stadium, whatever it may be. We got you covered. Chatsports.com/Seahawks draft to get those hats on sale now while supplies last, and you'll be glad you did. 12 Nation writes, could Seattle trade for Cam Jordan? Well, I got Trizzy Trace with me here today, and I don't think he's going to like me mentioning Cam Jordan in Seattle. But let me put it this way. Credit to Cam Jordan. The number one thing I think about his career has been his availability. He has not missed a lot, if any, football games throughout his career. He has been very, very dependable. So he's got that going for him. Terrific talent. All of that is true. He would be a major asset on any football team. He could play anywhere. But if you're the New Orleans Saints, why would you get rid of Cam Jordan right now? I know that I think it was CBS Sports or somebody said that Cam Jordan should be on the chopping block, that they should be looking to move on from him. I just don't see it. I just don't see why you get rid of a guy that's been reliable, that's been dependable the way that Cam Jordan has. And although I don't like the Saints going with Derek Carr and making him their quarterback of the future and some of the moves that New Orleans has made, they believe that they're in a position to try to compete and go win that NFC South and try to win the division. So with that said, if you're going to make a move for Cam Jordan, it's not going to be a cheap move. So This is not against Cam Jordan. I just don't see the possibility of this being realistic as far as that goes. So I don't see it happening. Seahawks have not really made a whole lot of trades as of late. Should the Seahawks trade for Cam Jordan? What do you think? D for trade, P for pass. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comment section below. Adriano De Santos, all right. Could we afford Quinnen Williams? Well, that's kind of a loaded question. There's a lot of money would have to be moved around. It's possible, but it's a long road ahead to get there. Quinnen Williams is due, I believe it's around $9 million in 2023. And then you're talking about a contract extension beyond that, which he wants at least $23.5 million after that. So, good question. Can they afford him? It could happen, but it would take moving heaven and earth to make that happen, in addition to whatever draft capital and all that you'd have to give up. Is it possible? Sure, but that would be a long road ahead. The Seahawks could certainly benefit from Quinnen Williams if he was there, but we'll see as far as that goes. But I'm not getting my hopes up on that just because it would be very difficult to get to that point. Pacific Northwest writes, I think we have Rookie of the Year candidates in both our first-round picks. I'd say Devin Witherspoon for sure will be a Defensive Rookie of the Year candidate. He'll be one of the top contenders for that position. As far as for Offensive Rookie of the Year, Pacific Northwest, here's the problem that you have, is that JSN is not going to be your number one receiver. He's not going to be your number two receiver. He's going to be your number three in this offense. So I don't know if he'll get the opportunity to put up the numbers of a Rookie of the Year candidate. Think about this. Bijan Robinson is going to be the number one running back in Atlanta. Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud are going to be the starting quarterbacks in Carolina and in Houston. They're going to get a lot of playing time and a lot of snaps. Jahmyr Gibbs in Detroit, among others here. Those guys are going to have more opportunities just on the field to pile up those numbers and get those involved as compared to JSN. I like JSN. He might even turn out, once all said and done, to be the best player in this draft, potentially speaking. But I think he's going to have a limited window to get those chances as far as that goes. Last one from Matthew. Realistically, how long could Geno Smith be our starter outside of this upcoming season? I think it's all year by year, right? If Geno has another good year this year, then you keep riding the train and keep it on going. This year is the only year that's really guaranteed for Geno Smith. Beyond this year, the next 2 years are voidable for Seattle, so it's a critical year for Geno to stick around, keep his job, but to continue to cash those checks as well. They could keep on going this for several years if Geno can play at a high level. If he plays like he did last year and does that for the next couple of years, then you'd keep him around. If his play is worse than what we saw last year, if his play starts to decline, then you got to look at your other options. But yeah, it's all a year-by-year thing. It could happen for several years. Name a player the Seahawks should trade for. Shout them out. Tell me in the comment section who comes to mind that you'd like to see in a Seahawks uniform in 2023. Name a player you'd like to see the Seahawks trade for, and I'll see you next time here on the channel. All right. So there you go. There's our mailbag segment. What do you guys think? Who is a player the Seahawks should trade for? Who comes to mind that you'd like to see join the Seahawks in a trade here in 2023? Name a player that comes to mind. Tell me in the chat, and I'll respond to what you guys have to say as we answer here on our live edition of Seahawks Today here on this Monday afternoon. Name a player the Seahawks should trade for. We talked about a couple different names in that mailbag segment, but now very curious what you guys think. This is your chance. There are no wrong answers here. So tell me what you think. Who is a guy you'd like to see Seattle trade for? Very curious what the chat has to say with this answer. Give me some names. Tom, Jason, Brian, Ariano, some others. Tell me who comes to mind you'd like to see the Seahawks bring in, and I'll react and I'll share my thoughts here. Give me some players that come to mind here for Seattle you think would be good fits. Trizzy Trey is going to rejoin me coming up in just a few moments, but waiting to hear from you guys what you have to say as far as who the Seahawks should trade for. Also, our poll question that we're asking you today, should the Seahawks cut Dee Eskridge? 53% of you say yes. 47% say no, with 116 votes in. Tom says either Bosa would be nice. Peter says Ioannidis. You don't have to trade for Ioannidis, Peter. He is a free agent right now. He's just sitting out there available. Let's see, what else? Adriano says, imagine Geno gets hurt. Would you sign a quarterback like Cam Newton or Matt Ryan? I'd sign Matt Ryan. I don't know if I'd go Cam Newton. But you might just be better off going with what you have in Drew Lock potentially. I think you would see what you have in Drew Lock first. Samuel says Ndamukong Suh and Quentin. SYKENT says, wish we could trade for Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. Don't we all? Frederick says, any starting nose tackle, what would be realistic target to go to for that? Oh, man, that's a whole nother can of worms there, Frederick, but it's a good point there. So those are some of the responses. So, folks, we promised you. We said we can keep on partying. We can keep on having a good time, but it's up to you guys to decide how long we want to party and have a good time on the channel today. So here's the Super Chat menu. Trace, we'll put 2 minutes on the clock. If we get a Super Chat, any amount in the next 2 minutes, we keep on partying. We can talk football. We can talk whatever you guys is on your mind. Trace and I are game to break it down, whatever it may be. But we're going to put 2 minutes on the clock. We get a Super Chat of any amount, we stay live. Otherwise, we sign off and we call it a day. Any Super Chat's a shout-out. $5, a birthday shot for yours truly. $10, we'll do a beer cheers. $25, we'll do a beer chug. And every $300, we will do Dust Boots. We are at $135 right now. Just over $150 away from taking down Dust Boot. $100 gets you a spot in the Boot Hall of Fame. We'll do an induction ceremony for you and everything on these shows. So 2 minutes on the clock. Super Chat of any amount. We stay alive. Otherwise, we sign off and call it a day. We can party and have a good time, but it's up to you guys how long you want to do this. Peter says Chris Jones. Samuel says cut Dee Eskridge. The UDFA wide receivers need a shot at it. Dee had a lot of time to show something. Adriano says, apart from our D-line, do we need some more help somewhere? I'm looking at the interior of the offensive line. Need some help potentially for Seattle. I think that's what Seattle is looking for, that they need some other options there. 1 minute down before we sign off. Trizzy, any luck from Dad?
He said he wasn't home right now, and I asked him to text me one of his favorite dad jokes. And he hasn't responded. So, shout out referee Steve.
That's a penalty. That's a penalty on Steve.
Typical ref not listening to what the people want. He's just being selfish, calling it how he wants to. Typical ref behavior.
That's a penalty on Steve.
Yeah, we're throwing a flag on. It's a 15-yard penalty.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the birthday. Absolutely criminal offense, if you ask me.
Party pooper.
10-game suspension. Throw the book at him. Throw the book at him.
20 seconds left on the shot clock. We get a Super Chat any amount in the next 20 seconds. We stay live. Otherwise, we sign off and call it a day.
Don't make us go do work.
We can't end yet.
We can't be done. We can't be done.
We cannot end the show just yet. If we have to sign off, folks, we got other work we got to do.
We don't want to do it.
We don't want to do other work. We want to hang out with the 12s. We want you guys, we want to continue to have a good time. So the clock has run out, but YouTube sometimes takes a minute to process, so we'll wait a second and see if something else comes in. Otherwise, we're done. Got to call it a day. But
don't be the case.
Don't be the case.
Chat.
Somebody could come in at the 11th hour. Trace, fun time today.
Dude, always a good time. Always a good time. I'm going to go ahead and get my shot ready because I know a Super Chat's going to come in. I'm going to take a shot for when this Super Chat comes in because it's your birthday.
Right?
It's your birthday.
We can't leave like this.
No.
We got to at least have one more shot to call.
Got to have one more. If we can get to 200, we could sing happy birthday. We could do a happy birthday if we wanted. Seahawks fans, 12s. You guys want to party?
What do you think?
Could be fun.
Could be fun. It's up to you guys. It's your show. It's your show. You guys, we can keep on doing this or we can sign off. It's up to you guys what we do here. I got, let's see, Peter, Tom, Adriano. Who's going to be the one to come through? So what you doing for Memorial Day?
That's TBD. I'm going to probably still be packing up my crib to move because I move the last weekend of June. So I will be packing up more than likely. But I'm off. Wait, what's today? Today's Wednesday?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm off Friday. So there's a golf tournament near my apartment. Maybe go to that. Colonial.
The Colonial?
Fort Worth. Maybe. There's a Grateful Dead concert Friday night over at Jexa Amphitheater. Maybe hit that. I don't know. World's my oyster, but I got to pack up a little bit, unfortunately.
Okay.
I know Will's going to be at the Village Pool. What are you doing?
Off to the nation's capital.
That's
go
right.
to D.C.
That's right.
Friday after work.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
That's
Gonna go party in the nation's capital. Should be a good time.
When do you get back?
I get back Tuesday morning.
Nice.
Tom says, sorry, bud, I'm out of work right now. The wife would kill me. Tom, understand.
Tom,
no worries. Don't worry about it.
Happy wife,
Don't
happy
want to
life.
Exactly. Don't want to get in trouble with the wife.
Never.
Peter says, who's going to get the parents' credit card and super chat?
We actually have had a history at Chat
That's happened
Sports.
before.
Yeah. Of people grabbing their dad's credit card and saying, hey, these guys on YouTube are pretty funny.
Okay. We'll give you one more chance. I'm going to put 30 seconds on the clock this time.
Come on.
Adriano says everybody's broke. Hey, times are tough. Don't worry. 30 seconds on the clock. We get a super chat. We stay live. Otherwise, we'll sign off. We'll call it a day. In the meantime, though, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. I'll put the sub link in the chat right now. We're live each and every week on Wednesday afternoons, and we do our daily segments on the channel as well with Seahawk videos each and every day. So if you haven't already, subscribe now for free. We are getting very, very close to 38,000 subscribers. We are just about 17 away from reaching that milestone. So that's how far we're at. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Sublink is in the chat right now. Folks, thanks for joining us. Thanks for giving me a great birthday. I'll take one more shot and we'll go. Have a great night, everybody.